Just have Andy like, this, and make everybody enter Sparta.
Yeah, that would be the good stuff. Okay. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the resumption of the Gridiron SA season and the playoff round between the Port Adelaide Spartans and the South City Chiefs, determining who will face Adelaide University in the Great Southern Bowl. This should be a good one, as the Spartans ran roughshod in the season series, but the Chiefs getting better every single week, and their last matchup was actually canceled due to the little bit of a COVID outbreak that we had, but now we're back healthy, and ready to roll. This is Nick Priest, joined by Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
Joined by Phil Hurden, as always.
Good afternoon, Nick. Good afternoon, everyone, whether you're live here at Riverside Oval or watching us on 180 Creations. It's a wintry kind of day. It's wild. It's windy. There's been a fair bit of rain coming through in the morning. I think if the radar holds up, that has cleared, thankfully, because we're not exactly in the most watertight position here with the broadcast. But it'll be, Nick, really how the players adjust to this strong breeze that appears to be blowing right across the ground, slightly favouring the southern end.
Well, it was just bucketing down earlier today, and the Chiefs have got to be feeling a lot better than that has cleared up. And even though it's still significantly overcast, the clouds are not particularly dark, because the passing game is the lifeblood of the Chiefs' offense, whereas the Spartans have a bit more balance between the run and the pass, and the pass can just be so affected by that water on the ground, water on the ball, and all those sorts of things. Just, you don't want to have to think about it, and so this sort of situation really can help level the playing field between these two sides.
So the teams are lined up on the sideline, or the Spartans are at least. Coming into this game, the Spartans with 6 wins, the Chiefs with 3. Interestingly, with the points for and against, according to the ladder I've got here, the Spartans have scored 192 points, the Chiefs 188. So very even, but defensively the Spartans have allowed 60 less points this season. In fact, the Chiefs are not too far off allowing the most points in the competition. So Chiefs will get on the scoreboard, and I guess if you can score, that'll make it possible for a contest. What do you think's going to be the key factors deciding who goes on to the Great Southern Bowl next week?
Well, for the Chiefs, it's all going to be starting defensively and seeing if they can... we'll have to get back to that in just one moment. Welcome back to Gridiron SA, where we are about to get things kicked off. We have our captains lined up on the sideline, back after the COVID-related hiatus, but now sports are back in South Australia, and so are we, ready to determine the champion of South Australia, and this all starts here in the playoff round between the Port Adelaide Spartans and the South City Chiefs. This is Nick Priest, joined by Phil Hurden, giving you our introductions once again as we get ready to start the playoff round off right.
So if you're watching us on the 180 Creation stream, you're looking live at Riverside Oval in Port Adelaide, where it's been wintry this morning. I think the rain has passed, but we've still got a pretty strong wind for the players to deal with, and the toss may well be interesting for which team wants the wind first, or will they do the automatic deferral. We'll wait and see if the script flips due to the conditions today as the captains come out for the coin toss.
That is certainly an interesting one. I mean, you'd think that you just have the even distribution of the wind based on the quarters, but at the same time, the wind that you get in the fourth quarter may not be the same as the wind that you get in the first quarter. So finally, a little bit of strategy could come into this one, but I imagine that it will just be automatic deferral as usual. So, keys to the game, we were breaking it down just before. The Chiefs' defense is going to be about keeping things in front of them, because the Spartans, despite their productive offensive numbers, really thrive off of that big play and just where they can get a big first down, hurry up, and really put pressure on you in a hurry. And the Chiefs need to try and slow down that momentum, keep things in front of them, and try and keep the Spartans where they have to produce over and over down the field.
So the Chiefs won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, and they will be defending the southern end. It will be the Spartans, I think, who get the ball first with the wind at their backs.
Well, that is certainly going to be an interesting one. And if the Spartans can really pour on a lead early, they have the running game to really just salt it away. So just can really put some pressure on the Chiefs early if they can put some points on the board in an opening drive. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they have the capability to come back and put on a lot of points in a hurry. At the same time, that just means that the Spartans can't afford to get too behind the Chiefs, because they are not built to come back in the way that the Chiefs are with the big play.
So the first test will be for the Chiefs number 9, and that is Alex Cornelius. He's going to be kicking. The Lions have played in, I think, the last 3 Great Southern Bowls, looking to make it a 4th. Chiefs looking to get back there after quite a... It is midday in Adelaide, South Australia, and it is time for some playoff football, and you're with Nick Priest.
So Spartans lined up to return with the ever-dangerous Spencer Lamont in the backfield. This kick is up into the breeze, hangs it up there, and bounces into the hands, into the hands after a little bit of a second effort. And number 8 there, bouncing off, winding out, bouncing wide. A nice return out to about the 35-yard line. And so that is where the Spartans will start things off. Nice field position.
John Tyler Riddington with a good run back. Good first play, as you'd expect, returning the ball with the breeze at your back. So Spartans will have 1st and 10. For those fairly new who've come down to watch their friends and family playing. To keep track of the game, look at those strange ice cream cone sticks on the far side of the field. Team with the ball has 4 plays to go, 10 yards. Right now it's 1st and 10 from the Spartan 35-yard line.
Having a little bit of an equipment miscommunication there early on as we wait, whistle, and now ready to be under play. Novice in the shotgun, 1 back to his right, 2 receivers either side. Chiefs show pressure, and up the middle go the Spartans to start things off, and big run for a first down. Start things off. That's Aaron Nasaris straight up the middle for about 14 yards and into Chiefs territory after 1 play, and immediately the Spartans line up and are going to try to push the advantage.
Well, if you get your 10 plays, so 10 yards, within your 4 plays, they move the sticks and you get another 4 plays to go another 10 yards. Spartans, strong start to this game offensively. Now they're going to move it around a bit. This is Lamont, who's a danger man in open space. He heads for the far side of the field. The down marker on the far side scatters for their lives. And it will all be a case of where he's been marked out, and that's going to be...
about a 6-yard gain, it looks like, where the
I reckon it's going to...
on there.
Yeah, gain of 6 will give him, which means you can see those sticks on the far side of the field. The number shows it's 2nd down, and there are 6 yards to go, and the Spartans are in a tempo offense.
Lamont was spinning out and continuing to fight, but had stepped out of bounds. High snap, Novice, play a fake, and throws well over the head of everyone. That one was a bit of an over-adjustment from the wind. Novice may take a little bit to get dialed in this wind, as that's pretty much throwing straight into the wind when you're angling that way, and just over the head of different, just get a little bit of an overcompensation. But sometimes you just got to try it out in order to really get a feel for it. 3rd down and 4.5. High snap again. Novice hands up the middle. Nasaris again straight up and into about the 24-yard line before being dropped down. That running game has been paying off for the Spartans thus far, whether it's Nasaris or Lamont in the little end around.
2 carries to Nasaris, 2 first downs. They're already inside the Chiefs' 24-yard line, looking to strike hard and strike early. Nasaris has the carry again. He's met at the line of scrimmage. There's a yellow hanky in the air. That means there's a penalty on the play. If it stands, it's a gain of 1. But I think And of course, when the flag is thrown, the officials involved will have a discussion, and a head referee in the white cap will wave it off. There was no flag. The play does stand, a 1 yard gain, and that will make it make it no yards on the gain. 2nd down and 10.
Noah Duffy just flew in and blew that one up. The Spartans were getting everything done up the middle, but Duffy is about one of the most sure tacklers that the Chiefs have. And once again, meeting Nasaris early, and you can just see Duffy with that dark helmet, number 36, hanging off the leg of Nasaris and bringing him down for a short gain once again. Back-to-back plays by Duffy, and now the Spartans facing another 3rd down, this time a long one.
And they're moving it quickly, which is keeping us up to speed. 3rd down are the big plays, so we want to convert, get to that ice cream cone. Spartans need a long 6, and they're going to keep it on the ground on this windy day. They're going to go to the money man, the Saras, who's, well, Chiefs took a couple of plays to work him out, but in the last few have held him up big time, met at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th and 5, Nick. A fascinating position. It's at the 19-yard line. With the breeze, even I might have a chance at a field goal today.
Well,
but you think the Spartans are going to go for it. 4 yards to keep the ball.
Former Oilers combining on the tackle there. Tedmanson and Ojibade on the tackle there as we come up on 4th and 6. Novice drops back, throws, this time short, complete, but down at about the 11-yard line. That is going to be the 1st down, so the Spartans in a goal, not quite goal-to-go situation, but in the red zone and set up with a 1st down and about 11 yards to pay dirt. So can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown, but...
Yeah, right. 10 for the 1st down, 11 for the first score of this contest. The Spartans with 3 receivers across the field. Nasaris at the running back. Guess what they go to? They go to the money man. Nasaris, he breaks across the 10. He's down to about the 8, which should bring up 2nd and 7.
And there's Duffy again. 3rd tackle of the day for Duffy, and he has been the one bringing Nasaris down more often than not. That could be one of the key matchups there. Just can Duffy keep Nasaris in check and force the Spartans to throw? Pressure comes in, handoff, and once again brought down. This time it's number 58 for the Chiefs on the tackle there.
Well, so far, the Spartans 39 yards on 7 rushing plays. Just the 1 throw in the air. We're back to 3rd and 5. So this is, you'd have to think 4-down territory.
Absolutely.
So, Novice, the delayed handoff, and that was all the Chiefs needed to have a welcoming party in the Spartan backfield. There was 3 of them there.
Absolutely. And just Michael Tedmanson, who is former Outback player, Australian representative at the national level and international level, is now playing defensive end for the Chiefs this series, and that means that the amount of just speed on that edge is hard. So if you're going to take any slow developing plays and running them towards Tedmanson, you could be in a bit of a bind.
And this is a big play, the first big moment of this prelim final.
Barely get the snap away. Novice pumps. Novice looks to the end zone, and that bounces short, and the Chiefs stand tall, get the defensive stop, and will come in, but whistles are blowing, may have a flag down.
We need the tree loppers, don't we, Nick?
Yes, we certainly do. And the one game where we're tethered to the desk, too.
Yes, one thing that's not going to happen this afternoon, we are not going to be blown away. Oh, that's a defensive hold. It's not an automatic 1st down. It's 5 yards, and the Spartans are going to get another shot at this. That is the first penalty of the day. And that, I mean, you always look at the penalties in the yardage. Some are bigger than others. This could mean points on the scoreboard, Nick.
Absolutely, and it puts it back in the range where Nasaris becomes a factor once again. But going empty are the Spartans. Novice.
No, that's the Francesca.
Up the middle and into the end zone. At least that's the early indication. Yep, indications on all sides. And that penalty pays off, as honestly, the big difference on the penalty was that it was a hold and not a pass interference, because the hold happens before the throw. The throw was uncatchable. It was just straight into the turf. Now here's a big sub-pull out of this game. The Spartans going for 2. Chiefs will also go for 2, but the Spartans have been not very good at it, and in this one, at it away and incomplete, so no good on the 2-point conversion. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are the most automatic and prolific converter of 2-point conversions in the state.
Well, if the Chiefs can get on the board, they might get the chance to use that advantage. That was an impressive drive, Nick. 55 yards, 11 plays, only 2 of those by the air.
Absolutely, and that is just establishing things early. Spartans a little bit of a evolving door at the running back position this year, but the big advantage of the Spartans is that big offensive and defensive line, and they kind of imposed their will there a little bit with a little help from Nasaris, DeFrancesca, and Lamont.
So Spartans took their first drive with the breeze down the field and scored 6 points. Chiefs about to get the ball for the first time this afternoon. It will be Jaden Casbara, the kicker for the Spartans, who, if you're new to this league, they're the ones in black, Chiefs in red. That kick holds up a little bit, takes a bounce, picked up at the 12-yard line. This is Cooper Henshaw with the run back. And from about the 16, he got out to the 21. So Chiefs ball for the first time this afternoon. They were the Wooden Spooners last year, the Chiefs, but have won 3 games of their 8, I think they got to play. And enjoying their first final, I think, in about 3 seasons.
Well, the Chiefs were the last ones to play in the final against the Hogs that weren't the Spartans. So I think that was 4 years ago now. But an entirely different Chiefs team playing this one, with the exception of Hugh Stevens, of course. But a lot of new faces, a lot of new places, different coaching staff, different skill position players, and just the youth movement up from the juniors has really bolstered this Chiefs team and rebuilt it up to a competitive one. That one, a run up there, and ball is loose, ball is down, and the Spartans look like they have it. Yes, indeed, recovered by the Spartans, and just like that, one play in, Angus Henderson recovering the fumble, and just like that, Spartans with the ball in the red zone start things off, and this is going to be a big one for the Chiefs defense. They need to get a stop here, cannot risk falling 2 scores down this early.
Could not have started that any worse. Spartans given a gift. We're in the season of giving. Will the Spartans open it? They're in the red zone, just inside the 20-yard line of their opposition. With all the momentum, Novus has the confidence to put it into the breeze. DeFrancesca leaps and marks and scores the touchdown. And it's a 12-0 football game.
Number 24 for the Chiefs was in position but mistimed it, and as a result, the ball just kind of hung in the air a little bit longer. DeFrancesca adjusted.
That was rugby league-esque, where the kicker goes for the corner and the guy leaps over the top. And for anyone with an Aussie rules background, that was easy money. 12-0, 2-point conversion coming up.
And off up the middle and bowling into the end zone for a successful 2-point conversion are the Spartans. And just like that, 14-0. 1 2-point, no good, but 1 2-point converted. And so it's just like, essentially works out just like 2 consecutive extra points. Spartans take the 2-score advantage early on here in the first quarter, which would still not even be half gone at this point. Spartans already with a big advantage and making a statement that they mean to make it 4 championship rematches in a row against Adelaide University.
Yep. Just adding it all up. So far, 65 yards of offense to -1. Time of possession, lots of plays, it's all Spartans. But Chiefs get the ball back, and we have got plenty of time. It's going to be Casbara with the kickoff, picked up at the 12-yard line. Bit of room up the middle for the Chiefs here. They get it across the 30-yard line. That was Henshaw again. And he will get the Chiefs started 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Much better field position for the Chiefs, but they need to get something going here. And really, I think that this is just more of an indication that they need to lean even heavier on that passing game, because while the run game has been effective at some points this season for the Chiefs, it all comes with the passing game setting it up. They need to get more defenders out of that box and have those receivers get double coverage and bring safeties over if they're going to get that running game going. Empty the backfield here. Quarterback draw, keeping it on the ground, but flag down immediately. This one gets about 5 yards before being wrapped up by a huge mob of black bodies, and that one is likely going to be coming back as that flag came in immediately.
We don't have season-long stats, but we would both be pretty shocked if Simon Whitehead, the Chiefs quarterback, was not their leading rusher this year.
I would certainly put money on that.
So the penalty against the Chiefs, the good old first down hold, puts them in a first down hole. 1st and 20, back at their own 23-yard line. So some killer penalties. That is the second one they've been charged. First one, unfortunately, leading to the first Spartan score. Whitehead throws the arm, finds Mai. He'll go back to the original line of scrimmage, so the Chiefs can exhale a little bit. They've had a positive offensive play, gain of 10, and we're back to 2nd down and 10 yards to go.
And that's exactly what we need to see from the Chiefs. They have the skill position players. They've got receivers all across the field who can really make things happen and have really established themselves this season. Now they've got Tedmondson in. He was there for the last game and is here for the next 2 games if necessary. But really just talented receivers all across the field, so the Chiefs need to take advantage of that. Flag down once again. Throws short to the back, out of the backfield. Another flag comes in. Has the first down, but this one may be coming back. At very least a replay, but we'll see just what's going on this one. Would be a first down.
Caleb Skipworth was the receiver, number 3 for the Chiefs. Usually when they go to... Oh no, they're not going to the other officials. But so they go to the captain of the one side, the penalty is usually against the other, and the captain has to make a choice to accept or not. But not here.
All right, so offsetting penalties. They got the offside, which meant that it was pretty much a free play. So at least no harm done from the second hold, but it just means that we'll do it all again. Still 2nd and 10, and let's get another crack at it here.
Yep, just got to get that white out for the stat sheet.
Well, absolutely. Well, those hidden stats pile up. At least it counts as another play for the Chiefs defense to get some rest. 2 receivers either side, again motioning the back into an empty set. Whitehead steps up. Whitehead under pressure. Whitehead unloads down the field. Has a man. Myers is behind everyone. Myers, huge gain with that reception inside the red zone, inside the 15-yard line. And just like that, that is the big play that the Chiefs have and can use to get back in this one in a hurry if necessary.
That is a 43-yard pass play and puts the Chiefs suddenly down the right end of the field. And Sam Meyer, we've been watching him for years defensively. Catch the ball plenty of times, interceptions. He's a very dangerous defender. Now the Chiefs have unleashed him as a receiver. Makes sense, he can catch the long ones too.
Absolutely. He has just been their weapon this year. They will often isolate him. This one is a quick screen pass. Number 89 is wrapped up and swarmed. The little bubble screen was not fooling anyone. Tedmondson can only block 1, but gain of 1, so 2nd and 9 coming up, and really that is kind of the play that should function as the running game for the Chiefs. Just the quick, short throws underneath, get it to a receiver in space where the O-line doesn't have to block too long, won't risk the holds that way, and that sort of thing can really help establish while also keeping the threat of a ground game more effective.
2nd down and 9, about 12 yards out from the clubhouse end zone. Whitehead again, the aim. It's our Phantom 89 who heads to the what we call the marquee corner here.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not the trees, it's the marquees. Short of the end zone. Has he got the first down? That's the question.
Looks like he's going to be just short.
I think they're waiting on an official signal. First down it is. There we go.
All right, so right at the line again, first and goal for the Chiefs, and looking to cut in to the 2-score Spartan advantage. 3 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Receiver on the right, in kind of tight, almost as a hybrid tight end, is Tedmanson. Motioning back, so 4 receivers on the left, 1 in the middle, and Tedmanson just loops across and was utterly unchecked. So they motioned the back out towards the right, so 4 receivers on that side, just totally overloading. So Tedmanson coming across to the side that now has no bodies, and Spartans would have had to go to man-to-man, and nobody picked up Tedmanson, and he is a man that you cannot leave unchecked. Tedmanson with the touchdown in the playoffs, and now looking to go for 2.
58-yard drive, officially in 5 plays, all of them by the pass. And Whitehead has started this game 5 for 5.
Cannot beat that. So, 1 play from the 2.5-yard line, 2 points hanging in the balance. Whitehead looks left. Whitehead throws up. All kinds of hands down there, but not seeing any flags. Tedmanson is looking for one, pleading his case, but they will remain in the pockets, and so Chiefs coming up with just 6, but it is a much, much needed answer.
Well, we're all very relieved because it's game on.
Oh, absolutely.
It was looking horrifically one-sided about 5 minutes ago. So for those on the 180 stream, if you're watching us live over the YouTube, we do have the occasional check-in on the chat, so make sure you say g'day, where you're watching from, what questions you got, what comments you might have, who you're cheering for, how'd you find us. We'd love your interaction.
And just from a psychological perspective, having anything on the board makes the game feel much more close. You could still have a 21-point advantage, like 42 to 21. That still feels much, much closer than 21-0.
Oh, yeah.
It just, you feel like, okay, we've been doing something, we have something going, and so even with the Chiefs coming up empty on the 2-point conversion, still the mental lift that they get from scoring that and just having that, we're in the game.
And the fact is, it's back to a 1-score game, which means an intercept, a fumble, your game could turn on its head. Just what you want.
Absolutely. We already saw how a fumble changed things. This kick is up. It is high. It's going to go back through the end zone for the touchback. Lamont waving it off, and that is just a booming kick.
I would have loved to have seen how far he would have got kicking the other way with that. It is a bit of a cross breeze, more so than north-south. Sort of you're coming in from the northwest to the southeast, but still think if I needed it at my back, I want to be going the direction the Spartans have, because we are still in the first quarter and we've had 3 touchdowns.
That is the way that this game has been going this season. All kinds of motion across. Lamont fakes the handoff. DeFrancesca turns the corner. Flag down. This one may be coming back as DeFrancesca finally gets wrapped up at about the 27-yard line, but flag down, and we'll have a chat about it. Spartans are moving back, so this one will likely be a hold and 10 yards to the disadvantage of the Spartans. First accepted penalty that wasn't wiped out by a Chiefs penalty of the day on the men in black. Just waiting for the signal, but just about the 10-yard move back, almost certainly holding. So, Spartans in a bit of a hole, 1st and 20, and we're going to be dealing with 1st and 25. Well, 24.
Okay.
24 and a half, because they're at the 9-yard line, so that'll be half the distance. So, 5.5, I imagine.
My computer only allows me to put in whole yards. I can't put in half a yard.
Well, We'll call it 5.
We'll call it
Why
5.
not?
So first down and a fair way to go here.
Flag down once again. This one will likely be a free play. That one came in immediately, but it wasn't blown dead, which means that either the Spartans lined up improperly or Chiefs lined up in the neutral zone. All right, so penalty after penalty after penalty. This one on the Chiefs. And so the Spartans gain half a yard on the exchange because...
Got me. So we're back to 1st and 20-something. Again, it's a handoff and a running play. It's going to get some yardage up the middle. Gain of about 4 yards. As mentioned before, Spartans' play selection thus far has had 3 passes and everything else has been on the ground.
Spartans are opening up the playbook and showing a lot of interesting looks. Getting it twice into the hands of Lamont on running plays. Nassar is weaving and batting his way before Duffy finally finds him and puts it down out to about the 23-yard line. So after being buried deep on that first down, now out to a much more manageable 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7.
Well, given that they started 1st and 25, this hasn't been a bad recovery. At 3rd and 5, pass to Di Francesca is incomplete. Does allow us to take one quick breath.
Angus Bell in coverage, but over the head of Di Francesca, and we're going to see our first punt of the afternoon.
And if they get it off quickly enough, they can do it in the first quarter.
Henshaw back to return for the Chiefs. Dangerous returner. He is quite tall, so you don't really notice how quick he is. And sort of things like you would see from Matt Jones, former Arkansas quarterback who was a bust receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And that is going to end up being a pretty good punt. Down to the 14-yard line. That's 53 yards on the punt.
Tremendous.
That's an NFL standard.
And just as importantly, downed inside the 15.
Yep.
So cannot kick it much better than that.
That wasn't exactly your standard 3-play, 4-yard, 3-and-out drive.
Not exactly.
But that's what will go into the books as. And you're out first punt.
7 and out with no first downs.
So this is actually the worst position any team has started today. Back at their own, Chiefs will start off at their own 18-yard line. Those that have been watching closely may have think, gee, this looks like a slightly smaller field than what I'm used to. And there's a reason for that. There's Whitehead with the pass to our Phantom 89, who takes the catch but takes the knee, and by the rules we play under, once you have the ball and your knee hits the ground, play over. You do not have to be down by contact. Yes, the Riverside Oval, it's the home of the Port Adelaide Rugby Union Club, the Pirates, and to make it all fit with the goalposts, this is a 90-yard field. So midfield is at the 45. As opposed to the 50, which means doing the stats when they cross the middle, you do have to do a slight adjustments. But it's 2nd and 10.
2 receivers for the outside, one in the backfield. Whitehead drops back, pumps, and is flushed out under pressure from behind. Has to turn up, but dropped in the backfield for the sack. And first sack of the day for the Spartans. Thanks to the foliage here at Riverside Oval, couldn't quite determine who was the one to actually bring him down. Spartans number 9, Barrand, was in hot pursuit and made the immediate pressure, but this is going to be interesting as 3rd and about 16 coming up for the Chiefs.
Will the Spartans come hunting, or will they sit back and try and pick off a turnover here? Well, they've already had one deep in their field. Another turnover here could be more easy points. So And we've got ourselves
Timeout.
a timeout. Is that for the end of the quarter, or is that a... Okay.
Chiefs want to have a talk about it. And why not? Very often in the first half,
First
timeouts
quarter.
just goes... Well, often in the first half, just timeouts end up going unused. And so just at the same time, why not? You can't take them with you, so if you don't like what you're looking at, take a timeout.
Okay, time for our football philosophy discussion. Should, instead of being 3 timeouts for a half, should it be 6 for a game?
No.
Okay.
Well, I would just say that theoretically it would make some sense, but at the same time, just football is generally, I know it's not necessarily for our league, but it's a sport for advertisers. And so at the same time, if you know that you aren't going to be spending your timeouts until the fourth quarter, that fourth quarter is going to be dragged out even longer than they already are.
Yeah. More suspense, more ads. Anyway, it is 3rd and long. Whitehead the pass to Tedmondson, who has a touchdown catch, and he will get back towards the original line of scrimmage. But it will be 4th and long, and I suspect we'll see the Chiefs punting.
That Skipworth throwing it.
Yeah, actually, you are correct.
That is interesting and something we're going to have a look at
Okay.
as this game develops. That was Skipworth, who is backup quarterback. Very young, very talented, but at the same time, not the Chiefs' standard quarterback. So will be interesting to see if there is an injury to Whitehead that needs to be watched, as number 9, Alex Cornelius, gets ready to kick this one off. High snap, but Cornelius gets a boot to it, but may have been touched. That one bounces and gets a roll, rolling dead at about midfield, but at the same time, that may be working out for the best because it kept it out of the hands of number 33, Spencer Lamont.
30 yards on the punt. Spartans will take over midfield as we're heading to the very, very late stages of this first quarter. It is the preliminary final, Gridiron South Australia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are here at Riverside Oval, we do have a request from Gridiron South Australia. We all know we're living under a COVID environment, and we're all relieved that we're back with some football after a 2-week break, but it does come with some conditions, and I'll just share one of those after this play. It's 1st and 10 Spartans. Surprised. Actually, that was a sneaky one. As it turns out, it was Isaac Musala who's got the call and gained a couple of yards. If you are here, please make your way past head to the pirate ship logo on the club room, and please use your SA Gov app and log in the Q code, please. Just so Gridiron SA is being law-abiding and we get to keep playing this game.
Handoff up the middle. That is Nasaris once again, and this time brought down by Tedmondson. So 3rd and 3 coming up. Spartans mashing it through. DeFrancesco on the earlier carry. Nasaris making it 2, and now 3rd and 3. Likely to be on the ground once again. About 4 down territory, so may as well take a shot here. Novice unloads, looking for Lamont, looking for a double move, but just cornerback was right there. So as Lamont tried to cut for the out part of the double move, he was running straight into the cornerback and could not get there. 4th down, and Spartans will of course keep the offense on the field in Chiefs territory. Why not? So here is where we're going to see if the Chiefs can get the stop on the run. Nasaris up the middle. Nasaris pushes the pile. Nasaris through for the 1st down before being brought down by Tedmondson and company.
So in a quarter of football, Nasaris has 50 yards rushing off 12 carries. At this rate, he could have 50 for the game.
Pfeiffer principal on the tackle there. 1st and 10 at about the 32-yard line. Novice drops back. Novice throws and picked off. Picked off by Henshaw, and that interception coming at about the 7-yard line. 2nd turnover of the day, but first by the Spartans, and so just like that, that will be the last play of the first half, or first quarter rather. So things starting to even out. Both teams with 1 turnover, And that one was a big one as the Chiefs defense gets the second stop of the afternoon. That one an emphatic one with the interception by Henshaw. Down the field either methodically or in huge chunks like that big play to Myers, but we have had just about everything apart from one of those big special teams breaks so far, but we are still in the first half, starting to kick off the second quarter.
Some stats for everyone. The Spartans have 67 yards rushing and 28 yards passing, total of 95 yards offense. As mentioned, the Saras 50 yards rushing off 12 carries. Chiefs have 70 yards passing, minus 1 yard rushing, for a total of 69, both 1 turnover each. Penalties, officially, Spartans 2 for 15, Chiefs 3 for 20. And first downs, actually I'll get back to you about the first downs.
All right, we are ready and lining up. Lots of space over on the right side and looking that way. Throw out to Myers. Myers turns it up, but is out of bounds. Smith there to usher him out, as well as number 27, Zalato of the Spartans. So that one, you could almost tell by the lineup, was going to that side, as Myers had huge acres of space and was the only receiver over there on that side. So this time, Chiefs will even up the formation. 2 receivers either side, 1 in the backfield. Now this is indeed Skipworth under center once again. Throws out to the back. Back up running back. Smith there. Reese Smith to escort outside. And loss of 2 on that one. So once again, a drive without Whitehead.
So, and look, thus far, the Chiefs quarterbacks are 10 out of 10 on their passing attempts. Still minus 1 yards rushing, but 10 out of 10 throwing. 3rd down and 4. Pretty big play here, backed up against the clubhouse. Make that 11 as 11. The sure hands of Meyer makes the catch, although there is a flag thrown around about the point of reception. Surely can't be any pass interference. Meyer seemed to have some space, but we'll wait and see.
Well, it might have been offensive if he committed a foul to achieve that space.
Maybe he had space for a reason.
Ineligible downfield and against the Chiefs, and that is going to hurt. So that one means that one of the 5 offensive linemen, you'll be able to tell them by the numbers, 50 through 70, if it starts with one of those numbers, you are, or 90 and up, but those are generally defensive linemen. But if you are wearing one of those numbers, you are ineligible, so you cannot go more than 3 yards downfield on a passing play. So that brings back the huge gain by Myers and sets up a 3rd and 9, a long one coming up for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs penalties have been, it's not the yardage, it's the situation, and in the end they pay for it because, they pay for it big time. Because Skipworth has fumbled the ball, the Spartans have recovered and have just strolled into the end zone. Just got to pick the player who picked it up. Was number 29 for the Spartans, who is Matthew Martin. Unless the Spartans come over and complain, we're going to give that as a fumble recovery to Martin, and that makes it a 2-score game. It is 20-6 with the conversion to come.
Still discussing this one, as the whistle may have come, as Skipworth was well wrapped up. So just seeing when the whistle was blown, when the ball came loose. Was he down when the ball was loose? Was the whistle already blown? Nope. Touchdown is the signal. So Spartans advance the lead 20-6 with the extra point yet to come. So huge break for the Spartans and huge heartbreak for the Chiefs as that is the huge difference there. And once again, that eligible receive man downfield wiped off that first down and made that play happen.
Yep.
And that is just the...
Well, the Spartans are the expert with the daggers today, because that's twice the Chiefs have had a good play that's been brought back on a penalty, and the Spartans, bang, next play have scored.
Certainly true. So Spartans going for 2 once again. Empty backfield. Novice. Fly sweep to Martin. Martin turns upfield and into the end zone for a successful 2-point conversion.
So that's a Martin duo. We had Matthew with the fumble recovery and Ben with the 2-point conversion.
Well, cannot beat that for family achievements. The brothers Martin combining for 8 points.
That could be a historic moment in South Australian Gridiron. 2 brothers on the same play.
Oh, well. Back-to-back plays at least.
The two on the same scoring play.
Scoring sequence,
yeah.
Right. So 8 points, 22 for the Spartans, 6 for the Chiefs. Spartans ready to kick things off.
And we'd like to welcome, we've got someone apparently watching from Detroit.
Ah, welcome.
So probably a standard equatable to the Detroit Lions at times, so enjoy the game.
You're going to cost us our viewer.
I'm sorry. Sorry, mate.
Well, there goes the ball off the tee, so we may have to have holders set up here.
Now, Spartans are telling me that Ryan Otten's got the second touchdown, which was a catch in the end zone. I'll have to go back and think about that.
No, they would say that Otten's recovered.
Oh, recovered. Gotcha. Otten's recovered it. Thank you.
Kick is bouncing out through the hands. Henshaw lets it go. Instead, it is the other returner of the Chiefs who winds out to about the 20-yard line, number 33.
So thank you for that, and it's great to have you, because we are slightly, we have a very big blind spot in that corner.
That is certainly true. The Spartans...
And we've been found out.
Yes, the Spartans' tent is set up in just the way where it gives us a very hard idea of who's making plays in that corner of the end zone. But these are the environmental factors we face here in Gridiron SA.
Yep.
Players not the only ones doing it tough. Skipworth back under center here, looking to bounce back. Throw to Myers is short. Spartans swarm to it. Myers makes 3 men miss before finally being brought down. Now that is a whole lot of work and a lot of tackles broken for about a 4 or 5 yard gain.
Someone is going to... I've just watched a little bit of a delay with the stream. I cannot believe how that receiver can be that open. There was a defender who marked him who took off after somebody else. Now, admittedly, he's only catching at the line of scrimmage, but you don't want that bloke in open field anytime.
Well, at the same time, Spartans are prepared to give them the short and underneath things. This one is kicked by a Skipworth, looking for Myers to set the edge and get a block. Skipworth generally running back for the Chiefs, so certainly has the legs for it. But that time, turned the corner and got back to the original line of scrimmage and nothing more. 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Chiefs.
So I should add that on the ground we've had 2 sacks, and don't think we've had a positive running play from the South City's yet as they face 3rd down. But they've had good success through the air if they can get the throw away, which they do here. It's I think Phantom 89.
Nope, that would be Tedmanson.
Oh, it is Tedmanson. Yep, 86.
Tedmanson.
Did he get there? I'm not confident.
Oiler on Oiler violence there as Smith.
Just like the old training nights.
Well, absolutely. Though generally one of them was playing quarterback.
Now, interesting decision here because Tedmanson didn't get quiet. I'm not sure we can get a camera shot of the stick on the far side of the field, but
About as close as you can get without getting the first.
correct. It's 4th and exceptionally short, but if the Chiefs don't get it, and let's face it, their short yardage running isn't great, then Spartans get the ball back in exceptional position to almost put this one away.
I'm not sure. This is one where the practice time issues this week may actually hurt the Chiefs. So Chiefs will take their second time out and talk this one over. But if they had had practice time, then you could have tried something like trying some under center snaps, where Skipworth or Tedmanson, who does have experience going under center, could field a snap.
It's 4th down. It is 4th down. Okay, yes, exactly. So it is 4th down and short. Thank you.
So you could just go under center for the 4th down and just push the pile forward. But in this situation, because again, backup quarterback in, does look like the Chiefs are going to keep the offense on the field. And Skipworth is again in position as the quarterback. In the shotgun. But all kinds of motion up there. This one will be likely moved 5 yards back, and so that may make the Chiefs rethink about the option there.
Well, no doubt you can hear it through the mics, but it is very, very windy here right now, and it's just picked up another level.
So Cornelius on, which means that the Chiefs will punt.
Yeah, 4th,
Finally, the kicking tee comes off the field too.
4th and 1. The kicking tee. 4th and 1 is one thing inside your own 30. 4th and 6 is another matter. So yes, Cornelius gets a chance to see what he can do with the breeze.
Lamont back to return. He has taken 3 kicks to the end zone this season. 2 punts, 1 kickoff. This one will bounce out of bounds at
That's-
about the
that's
33
halfway to
yard line.
Adelaide.
So
That's
goes out at 35, so no chance for a return for Lamont, keeping that well away from number 33. Winds continuing to swirl down here at Riverside Oval. Spartans will be moving more into it this time. Though, as you can see from the trees on the Chiefs sideline, if you got a shot of that, it is swirling and just gusting back and forth all over the place.
back to the game. Spartans 22-6. In theory, it's a 2-score game. They have the ball, and it is their side of the field at the 38-yard line. Not surprisingly, Nasaris gets another carry, and why not when he can go right up the middle for 13 yards, if you do not mind. And as long as the Spartans can do that, they look unstoppable.
That is certainly true. Just Chiefs are not getting low enough with that defensive lineman when tackling Nasaris. If you're tackling him high, you're going to do it. This one throwing, Lamont behind the coverage, but that one goes through his hands. He's holding it up like, no, I got it. But you didn't get it. That one was on the ground, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Well, my skills at tying knots are about to be put to a test, because we've tied this marquee down to a couple of very sturdy gum trees. So as long as the rope's hold, we'll be fine.
Up the middle once again, and dragged down is Nasaris, this time for a gain of about 4 up for the Spartans. Near midfield, flag down, and as it's pre-snap, this one will be moving the Spartans 5 yards back, and that one could actually be very interesting, as it really changes the dynamics.
Well, they haven't put it up since the interception. They've kept it on the ground every play since.
No, they threw it to Lamont, incomplete.
Sorry, just that last. Yep, my apologies. My stats are in 1 play delay.
So 3rd and 10 coming up. 2 receivers either side. Novice has time. Novice over the middle. Novice has a man, flag down. So this one may be coming back. But Different Jessica made a catch in all kinds of traffic But we have a flag down at the feet of Andy Stevens, and Spartans are moving back.
If body language is any indication, this is not good news for the Spartans.
And yes, the body language in particular from Andy Stevens was because he was the one called for the hold. So 10 yards further to the disadvantage of the Spartans, and now if they don't get the big play and get the completion, they may be forced to punt. So huge plays that may cost them a 4th down opportunity.
Yeah. And it was a completed pass, something they hadn't managed in a while. Oh no, hello.
So, wait, I think the Chiefs are going to talk about this. Yeah, they're just like, wait, it could be a 4th down. Oh, wait, it would be a 4th down.
Except the play, if they accepted it, was going to be a 1st down. So
yeah, they just had to clarify that real quick. And the referee's confirming it is 3rd down. So 3rd and about 20 coming up after consecutive penalties. Novice pumps. Novice almost wrapped up. Novice
2.
under pressure. Flags down. This finally brought down in the backfield. Flags everywhere as finally a sack comes in. First of the day for the Chiefs, and first maybe in a couple of weeks, as Duffy finally brought down Novice.
Is it technically a sack if you get back to the line of scrimmage?
No.
I think he did. Anyway, we understand. He certainly escaped. Great job escaping.
So
Twice.
flag down indication is one of them may be a face mask, which means that would wipe out a... So both flags were for the face mask, and that really bails the Spartans out.
Well, if the Spartans are consistent, right now they're going to... Nazaris is going to break loose and score a touchdown, or they're going to throw long. Because every time the Chiefs give up a big penalty, Spartans go bang on the scoreboard.
Keep your eyes on Lamont on this one. But they are loaded up on the right. Novice throws over the middle off the hands of Martin, incomplete. Just off the fingertips, and that is a finger jammer. 2nd and 10 coming up. And that was a good one by Novice. Maybe a little bit behind Martin, but at the same time, one that Martin really should come down with. 2nd and 10.
So Spartans are in Chiefs territory. Right now, 2-score lead. Would love to make it 3, give themselves a big cushion going into the half-time break. They go to Nasaris. He's got some running room on the outside. He's going to be well short of the 1st down, and there is another... let's just throw another one in for good measure. 2 flags on the play. Not sure if it's for the same thing. The run was for about 7 yards. Nasaris coming into that play, 67 yards off 14 carries, which are, by my calcs is about 16, almost 17 yards. No, can't be. No, it's just under 5 yards a carry. Penalty against the Spartans, so now it's their turn to have a few penalty issues.
Mosquitoes picking up in the wind, and we are getting a mouthful of them here at Riverside Oval as we look at
Windburns, sunburns, and mozzie bitten.
Novice fights through the tackle and gets finally buried. Gain of about 5, so
it should also... So who was that carrier that time?
I believe that was Nasaris once again.
Okay, thank you. Gridiron SA made the paper this morning. Nice big colour photograph of a few of the Hogs players. It's 3rd and long. Novice tries to step up into the pocket, except the Chief was there. They trip him up. That's a sack. No disagreement there. And one of the toe tappers was Phantom number 33, who we do not have on our roster. So we can't give the kudos deserved.
We'll give the credit to Duffy instead, as he was also there. Would have gotten half a sack. We'll give him the whole one. Why not? Good job, Duffy.
Of course, don't forget, next week, showdown at high noon, the Great Southern Bowl, version number 36. Spartans going for title number 28. Sorry, the Hogs going for title number 28. 8 in a row. Who will they play? If the Spartans punt it away into Cyrus, the end bouncing kick, will it go into the end zone? Will they stop it? Well, Salem did his best. We'll give him an A for the effort, but not much for the result. It's a touchback, Chiefs ball at the 20.
I think that was actually Formentera on the down.
Okay.
Number 12. So Chiefs will get the ball at about the 20-yard line, trailing by 2 scores, and seeing who is under center for the Chiefs. It has been Skipworth the past few possessions. He has done well completion-wise, but has not pushed it down the field yet. Once again, Skipworth under center, so Whitehead may be out for the afternoon, and that could be a big blow for the Chiefs, as the use movement from the Chiefs may take some time to collect if they're going to keep growing here. Skipworth, 1st and 10. Skipworth looks left, comes back to the right, throws short. Myers made the catch, but not a lot there. Or they may have a chat about it, seeing who had line of sight.
He looks pretty poised there, though.
Oh, absolutely.
In that position. And they're certainly not adjusting the game plan, bro. They're still going to throw. So I think I can see Whitehead on the sideline with a cast around the middle. So some strapping around the middle there by the down markers. Helmet and jersey are off. I think that's day done.
Skipworth throws, and this one is a nice one for a 1st down. Number 89, our fellow who, I think that's the last one. There's a number that we don't have, sadly.
And 33 now.
Yeah. So
that's a 1st down pass. Chiefs get their first down in a while, move the chains out of that clubhouse area where the game has been for most of this second quarter. Halftime shouldn't be too far away. Been a lot of plays, the quick tempo offense and a lot of passing.
And not too many incompletions for the Chiefs as well. So ball loose on the ground, and that one looks like it was recovered by the Chiefs, however. So is that one actually going to count as like a yard gained by on the ground?
Number 41. Do you have a 41 on your list?
I do not. No.
Very famous number for the Chiefs, of course, worn by Andrew Hurcomb, who is the league's all-time rusher. Won a flag or 2 with the Breakers, and then a 1 or 2 with the Chiefs. 2nd down and 9.
And flag down. Nope, timeout.
No flag. Or maybe both.
So sideline violation by the Chiefs means that will cost them their timeout. So both a penalty and a timeout.
Well, not often you see a team out of timeouts in the first half before the 2-minute warning.
Well, it's certainly true, but it has been a unique game to start things off for our playoff season here thus far, as Chiefs looking at 2nd and 8. Skipworth bounces. Skipworth sees a lane. Skipworth keeping his eyes downfield, throws, has a man, but over the head, incomplete. Flag down, however, on the far side, as they will say that our number 22, which would be Fawale, might have been impeded with.
Reminder, folks, next week, 12 o'clock, the Great Southern Bowl, right here at Riverside Oval. The Hogs are in. Will it be against the Spartans or Chiefs? We'll know in about 90 minutes. And we'll have the canteen facility, so if you're in the vicinity, get down. Always a big night to crown a champion. Will this be the year that the Hogs finally get beaten, or will it be another title to add to the longest winning streak in Gridiron history, Gridiron Australia history, with that 27 flags? So there was a hold in that play. That'll give the Chiefs another first down, and they're starting to move the football.
Absolutely. And so, yes, indeed. And if you're the Spartans, today is looking into the future against this Chiefs offense. Yes. Even if they come up short today, the Spartans have to think that this is a Chiefs team that is going to keep getting better. They are young and they are improving year by year. And so you have to think that if we don't take advantage of this opportunity and win the championship this time, we may not get another chance to have another easy round into the Great Southern Bowl. That one incomplete, a rare incompletion for the Chiefs. Set up 2nd and 10.
In fact, I reckon that's only their second. Given they've thrown the ball about 12 times, that's not a bad effort.
Absolutely.
So it's 2nd down and 10. The ball is just inside Spartans territory. Chiefs have worked out of that area pretty well. Can they put together a drive here? Well, they're going to try and run the ball, and what do you know? They've gained positive yards on the ground. A gain of 3.
Gained positive yards, and the running back held on to it. So, definitely the best gain on the ground for the day for the Chiefs.
Limited sample size, but still good.
Absolutely. When you're starving or deprived of water in the desert, the most fetid puddle looks like paradise.
It does. Well, if you're going to wear number 41 for the Chiefs, you better be able to run the football. There's a bit of heritage to live up to there. 3rd down. 6 yards to go.
High snap, but fielded by Skipworth. Skipworth feels the pressure, steps up, spins out of 1, but Barron brings him down at about the original line of scrimmage. So loss of about 3 on the sack. And timeout to the Spartans. Now they're going to try and conserve the time on that. But that may give the Chiefs enough time to think about going for it, as technically
and
close to midfield. You aren't going to gain it too much by punting it, and you don't want to risk punting it to Lamont anyway. So they may keep the offense on the field here with the timeout giving them time to talk about a play.
Yeah, and a head official is not a Texas Longhorns fan. He's just giving the 2-minute warning. Hence why Spartans have called the timeout. They're going to go for it here. They're going to get the ball back, try and get that one more score and take a big lead into the halftime break. That's the plan. Doesn't always work that way.
Who is a Texas Longhorn fan in this state? No one I want to know.
I'll tell you, it's 4th down. Chiefs forget about the punt. They're going for it here. Skipworth rolls out. He's about to get crunched. Oh, dear, Burron gets his 2nd sack in 2 plays. We had watching the 180 creation stream, you would have had a great view of seeing the defender coming, and the quarterback just turned. And you imagine all he could see was black in terms of the jersey.
Just the sort of thing that happens to young quarterbacks more often. They think that they have more time than they do, and the Chiefs kind of going away from that quick passing that was working for them with Whitehead and looking a little bit more downfield, and that time not paying off as Skipworth held it too long and ended up getting cleared up. Nice coverage by the Spartans defense there, and gives the offense a chance here. Up the middle goes Nasaris into the secondary before being finally dropped down inside the 30-yard line to about the 25. And with one play and plenty of time, the Spartans are on the move. Clock stops while the chains reset. Now in and ready to play. Empty backfield for Novice.
Nasaris could almost have 100 yards of rushing by the half, as there's some players falling over there. It doesn't seem to bring any flags. That'll be incomplete. Nasaris, I've got it 87 yards off 16 carries.
So they'll just say that got their feet entangled there. So no harm done, no intentional fouling.
Yep.
And clock stops on the incompletion, so Spartans still have time. Novice looking to his left. Novice has a man behind. Novice, I think that one was pulled out of there. Number 30 of the Chiefs, Sorao.
Yep. Shabani, the intended receiver for the Spartans.
Sorao.
Third down.
So 3rd and 10. Spartans continuing to go fast. They've got time. 2 receivers either side, one in the backfield. Novice bounces, Novice throws. Off the hands of Lamont, incomplete. And once again, Lamont unable to bring that one down. Tom Martin there on the defense for the Chiefs. And generally you would see Duffy in about that position as the safety, but since he has been the most sure tackler on the running game, this time Novice taking a shot downfield. DeFrancesca bowls into the end zone. That one just hung up there forever. DeFrancesca boxed out almost like a basketball play and came down with the rebound and took it into the end zone. And that will extend the Spartan advantage. So big play before the half for the Spartans to tack on another one as the Chiefs. Low on time and lower on timeouts. They have none remaining. So this may be the advantage that we take into the half. 28-6 with the extra point yet to come.
Well, that's huge. As they're going to go for the 2-point conversion.
Bowls in and he gets in upright. So 30. 30-6 is the score here in the first half. Quintupling the score of the Chiefs thus far.
Today's Word of the Half is brought to you by...
Why not? We are here to educate as well as entertain.
That's it. Well, the Spartans are putting on a lesson, that's for sure. They called those timeouts to have the time, and they went looking with some long throws, and DeFrancesca's having a day out. 2 touchdown catches. He also had a touchdown run to open the scoring. So Spartans showing that they can score on the ground. And to be honest, they haven't exactly... I've only got them with 4 pass completions. 2 of them have been for touchdowns.
Well, DeFrancesca has been the man there. He has been doing the majority of the work. They had one completion to Martin. Lamont been kept strangely silent thus far, but DeFrancesca has been doing the work and really paying things off.
So we're ready to get back underway. Jaden Casbara is set from his own 30-yard line with a bit of a squibby kick. Will be picked up with chance for a return by the Chiefs down the outer sideline. This is Henshaw. Takes a couple of defenders with him out of bounds. And about somewhere out there on the 25-yard line on the other side of the field. Of course, the Riverside Oval, Port Adelaide. We're within about a couple hundred metres of the Port Adelaide railway station. Fairly easy place to get to. Grand Junction Road, a major thoroughfare in Adelaide, cruising right by us.
Pretty easy to get to as long as you are in Australia. So our friend in Detroit, hope you're enjoying it, but at the same time, would be a little bit more difficult for you to get down here right now.
Yeah, and
Chiefs will just let it go. Not going to get another crack at it here, and so we will take the half with the Spartans out in front. 30-6. Chiefs will receive the second half kickoff, and so they will have at least some time to talk and see if they can make some adjustments with the new quarterback and get back into this one. Right now it is all Spartans, 30-6.
Yep, half-time is around about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll take a break. If you're here at the stadium, we do have the canteen open. Just check out the Pirate Ship. And if you haven't done so already, please do the right thing by the health regulations and look for everybody's health and safety. To please use your mobile phone and snap the QR code that's around about at the door to the club rooms. Just use the SA Government app, and that will help keep us COVID-free and playing football. 1 more week to go.
Absolutely. Put them way up like they were before. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half here at Riverside Oval. Nick Priest joined by Phil Hurton as we are about ready to get underway for the second half. Chiefs receiving the second half and trailing by 24, but one quarter, plenty of time. We have seen the Chiefs make tremendous and huge plays through the air all season, and they are going to have to do it again here to cut into this lead that the Spartans have established throughout the first half. So Phil, thoughts on the first half and what we've seen so far?
I think it's the Spartans' ability to capitalise on the errors that the Chiefs make, and play by play, Chiefs have done all right, but they've made some errors that have proved to be very costly. So we're just waiting on our officials. Anybody want to officiate the second half here at the stadium?
I mean, I'll do it, but sometimes the officials disagree with my calls.
Well, the only problem is they usually bring the ball, so that's always a problem.
Okay, well, I got one
Here
in the
they
trunk.
come. Ladies and gentlemen, your officials.
It's deflated, but you know. So the big difference in the game thus far is just when the Spartans have run the ball, it's really seemed like it's been one of three people making the tackle. Tedmanson,
Yep.
Ojibade, and Duffy.
Yep.
Those are the three who have generally been the ones taking Nasaris down. And so essentially the Spartans' running offense just depends on how long does it take for one of those three Chiefs defenders to find Nasaris on a running play. Because sometimes he'll run for 12 before somebody is able to wrap him up. Sometimes Duffy will get him around the ankles for 2. And that has been the big difference in just how far they can escort Nasaris before one of those three finds him, as the rest of the Chiefs have not been tackling well with Nasaris.
I got the Spartans at 157 yards of offence, 104 on the ground, 53 through the air. Chiefs 90 yards passing, -3 rushing. So Spartans have opened up the passing when they've had to, and you've utilised it to get a couple of scores that way.
For reference, if you're watching overseas or wherever else, this is NCAA rules and NCAA stat keeping, which means sacks.
No, it's not.
Well,
it's amateur league stat keeping.
It's NCAA standard stat keeping. So sacks count as rushing yards lost, rather than being their separate statistic for passes.
Yes, they
So,
do.
That's what I'm explaining.
I don't claim that the stats keeping is anything of any particular level of standard, but it helps provide a little bit of an insight to the game as long as the Spartans don't go tempo for the whole match. Second half, clean slate. Chiefs with 24 points to make up, but they do start with the football. They do have the breeze. So in theory, this is the quarter they're going to have to make it happen. Skipworth, who probably would have got a rude introduction, saying, "You're on, son," has had a half to think about it. Sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be not so good. Well, we'll see what adjustments have been made. 1st and 10.
Well, Skipworth coming up from the junior program, and just, you knew it was going to be his time eventually. Ideally, if you're a Chiefs fan, you wouldn't have wanted it to be now in the playoff round, where he hasn't had a season to prepare for it, and has been spending the limited practice week, I might add, since we were only allowed to start practicing as of Tuesday this week. But Skipworth has been lining up at running back, so hasn't been getting all the quarterback snaps that he would have been getting in a general week. And so that sort of thing can play into it a little bit. So not ideal from the Chiefs' perspective, but at the same time, there's no better time or no better place than to gain experience than in a playoff round where the pressure is on and every snap comes forward. Once again, ineligible men downfield against the Chiefs, and so they will wipe that one back.
Just get that liquid paper comes out again. And that's been 2020. It's a just. Nothing you plan comes to reality. Things change, you adapt, you improvise, you overcome. That's just to get on the field, let alone what happens during a game.
Absolutely.
And,
But-
to think that we've actually managed, amongst all of this, to get off, and look, maybe I'm jumping ahead because we haven't had the grand final yet, but it looks like we're going to get pretty close to a full season in the books. Is no mean feat, and something that a lot of sports and a lot of other states and quite a few Gridiron Victoria hasn't been able to get a season off this year. That's an achievement, and congrats to all as we go 2nd and 1.
And just look at all the adjustments that the NFL and the NCAA has had to make this year. 2nd and 1 this time. Tedmanson under center now. Tedmanson drops back. Tedmanson throws and picked off. Just drilled by Myers, but Tedmanson with the throw. Picked off number 82 for the Spartans, collecting that one as Tedmanson rifled that one.
Brad Vergara.
So into the hands of Vergara. So
I was wondering if they were going to use Tedmanson at some stage. He was quite an accomplished state quarterback.
state quarterback, state wide receiver. He has done it all here in Gridiron, South Australia, but just one championship to show for it in his rookie year. Looking to add another one, but they are going to have work to do if they're going to get to that point here. Novice hands off Nasaris. Nope, not Nasaris. Number 17 is the handoff there to start off the second half. And that would be Palmer up the middle, and Palmer getting a nice gain of about 7 yards on that carry, setting up 2nd and 3.
You would hope that they're going to spread the load around a little bit for the Spartans rushing,
But
because
flag coming in very late.
especially whilst they maintain this advantage, because if they do maintain this advantage, they've got a very big game next week.
And that is one thing that we have not talked about too much, that the ones that may be more affected by this will be the Hogs, as they had essentially an additional bye week popped onto the bye week they would generally have, and didn't get all the practices that they would normally get out of it. Flag finally waved off. That one came in very late, so just needed to have a chat about that one. I believe that they were just counting up the men on the field, so may have thought there were 12, in actuality 11. So 2nd and 2 coming up. Chiefs show pressure off the edge. Novice throws. Martin complete. A little bit behind, but Martin was able to totally block out the defender on that one, and they will move the chains and move into Chiefs territory for a first down. Really trying to put pressure on and just seal this one away, where the ground game can just wear this one out and carry the Spartans into the grand final.
I think every turnover that the Chiefs had in the first half ended up on a Spartans touchdown. Oh, we're going to get fancy here as Lamont gets the reverse play. Chiefs have got a fair few red on this side of the field, so there's a very late flag thrown there.
2 very late flags coming in as Lamont has not had a completion yet, but has been getting some carries on the ground. But flags coming in late likely may mean a face mask.
Because the run itself,
No,
I think, got
targeting instead.
Ooh.
So that may mean an ejection.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Good night. Who's gone?
That would be looking like Ojibade coming off.
Yep.
And that is unfortunate for the
Hang on,
Chiefs
there's another
for
flag
a
coming off. Hang on. Yeah,
Unfortunate
it is
for
Ojibade, you're right.
many reasons for the Chiefs. First of all, losing the 15 yards, losing the first down. But Ojibade is one of their best tacklers and one of the few who was regularly bringing down Nasaris.
So they've lost a key player offensively and their starting quarterback, a key player defensively. 4 turnovers for the game, 3 of which have been converted for touchdowns.
And one
And the fourth
yet
may,
to be determined.
may well be. It's 1st and 10 apparently, just outside the 10-yard line. They're going to go for a run.
Little zone read. Palmer trying to get additional numbers up there. So leaving an end unblocked. Novice reads. Palmer gets the handoff and goes up the middle with numbers for about 9 yards, setting up 2nd and very short. Up the middle, but wrapped up immediately and driven back. Tedmanson slinging down. Palmer immediately in the backfield. That one coming in unchecked. So loss of 3 on the carry.
So
Edmondson with the big tackle for loss.
it is 3rd and goal, I think, or have they? Oh, no.
Nope, they've still got down markers up. So can get a first down without getting a touchdown, but it will take some doing. Palmer remained the back on this one as Novice readjusts, or Stevens readjusts the receivers rather. Lamont in motion. Lamont fly sweep, and Tedmondson buries in the backfield once again. Back-to-back tackles for loss by Tedmondson as he is making up for that interception by snuffing out the ensuing possession with back-to-back tackles for loss. And just like that, the Spartans are in 4th down situation.
So
Not quite goal to go.
Usually, folks, this close, you'd try a field goal, but this is Australian gridiron, and the kickers, some teams just don't have one. So when it's 4th and goal for the Spartans, it means end zone or bust. And they'll try here with a pass to the end zone that's thrown between the 2 chief defenders looking for Lamont. But
flag down on the far sideline, though.
This is against the Chiefs. Spartans get another shot. If this is against the Spartans, it's Chiefs football.
I'm picking up and blowing my glasses off the desk. Appreciate that, guys. Ugh.
Yeah. We've got blue skies here at Riverside now, but there is still one heck of a breeze coming through from time to time. And that has been ruled a penalty against the Spartans. Turnover on down, so the Chiefs D come up big in this mid part of the 3rd quarter.
Those 2 big plays by Tedmondson may come in big. If the Chiefs are able to get back into this one, you can bookmark those 2 tackles for loss by Tedmondson that kept the Spartans out of the end zone. So 1st and 10 for the Chiefs, but they have got essentially the length of the field to go, starting this possession at their own 8-yard line. Skipworth back in the shotgun, doing the claps for this one. A little bit of a jumbled handoff, but
I don't even know if that was that a handoff or was that a wildcat?
I mean, we'll call it a handoff. Why not? But yes,
it does gain a yard, and Chiefs will take that. Might actually gain 2 yards.
Yeah,
We'll definitely take that.
For a Chiefs running play, that's pretty good. At least the way it's been this afternoon. Chiefs taking their time, however. 2 receivers either side, 1 in the pistol behind Skipworth. Skipworth throws, Myers, plenty of space. Block comes in, Tedmondson buries the dude. Myers getting work done, but not a lot of running room there. He ran a very long way to get 2 yards.
I reckon the Spartans are playing rope-a-dope on that.
Absolutely.
I reckon at some point they're going to put a guy closer and they're going to pick 6 it, because I can't believe he's that open that often. I know it's only a sideways pass. I know that you're just containing an area, but
honestly, at this point in the game, I think the Spartans are just going to give it to him. I think that because, again, they're rallying to it. Didn't gain that many yards. Yes, he was open, but at the same time, he was downed and tackled in the field of play. That one comes in a little bit behind.
And who's this guy?
Oh, you just threw me under the bus. I told you who he was.
Kelton.
Kelton, right.
Yeah, there we go.
We have finally identified number 89. That would be Kelton. In possibly the last game of the season for the Chiefs.
They won't throw the ball to him anymore the rest of the day now.
Oh, well.
Now he's been identified.
All right, so Cornelius back to kick it off for the Chiefs. Lamont back to return for the Spartans. Kick is spiraling down, bounces at the 40. Lamont is under it. Lamont with a chance to return. Lamont down the sideline. Lamont takes it back, cuts it back, and into
Good night,
open
nurse.
field. One man to beat, and into the end zone. There is Lamont, and there is the football game. Lamont
58
finally
yards.
busting one. He has been getting the ball in his hands in a variety of ways, but showing what made him the all-state selection as the returner last year, and it would be an upset if he did not claim that honor once again this year. Lamont, absolute dynamite.
And that is why punters punt high.
Yes, punt
Not necessarily
high
directly,
and-
because you got to give time for people to get. By the time the Chiefs got anywhere near Lamont, he was at full speed. He'd worked out where the holes in the line were, and that makes for a complete effort by the Spartans today. Their defense has scored, their special teams have scored, and their offense has been scoring regularly. And you're right, I reckon that's game, set, match. They're off to the Great Southern Bowl.
Novice with the handoff up the middle. Palmer mashes the pile and looks like he may have been stopped short, waiting for the signal. No, they'll say that he made it, so 8 points, 38-6 is your score, and the Spartans just putting an exclamation point on it in the third quarter with that return by Lamont. And once again, Lamont without a reception thus far today, though he has been targeted at least 3 times, but not coming down with one yet. But there it is, just like that. And if anyone else is your returner of the year in South Australia, I would want to speak to the manager.
There's a manager?
Oh, well, sure. Everything's got a manager. If you know who to talk to.
Yes. Well, you do know the story of how the All-Star team came about?
How's that?
Well, it used to be that we had just the President's Award, and the President used to pick the MVP. Okay. And we'll get to I'll get to it as we have breaks in the play. Okay. Scabara will kick us off into the breeze. 41, the Phantom 41 picks it up. Flag thrown from. That's almost been thrown by Zoom call. That's so far away, that flag.
But at the same time, clear lines. So.
Whilst they work that out. Okay. Season 3. We had a president from one club that I won't name, and the most valuable player was from a different club because he'd scored 25 touchdowns, rushed for 1,500 yards, smashed all the records. And the league president this time decided rather than give it to that player from that club that he didn't really like, he went a bit broader with his interpretation of what MVP was. And it came down to most valuable participants. And it was awarded to the Spartan cheerleaders, who were great effort. Yep, Wendy remembers it well. Still got it on the mantelpiece, no doubt. And whilst very deserving, and I think you've got to recognise the off-field people, it did cause a little bit of a backlash.
Oh.
So it was decided that maybe that presidents of the league should not decide the MVP. And so a all-star team concept came out of that, which has lasted 32 years.
So Skipworth once again throwing that one on that out route, but coverage was there by Smith, and that one got a little bit away from him anyway. So incomplete, 2nd and 10, and you would not believe the completion stats that the Chiefs have had, despite the lopsided nature of the scoreboard at this point.
It's starting to drop off a little bit. The interception probably, but that was Tedman. If you take Tedmanson out, it's actually been very good. Just starting to drop off a little bit now, but it's still around about the 80% mark, which you're being taken to the cleaners by 32 points and you're completing 80% of your passes.
Well, that just shows how big a story those turnovers are. Skipworth tucks, Skipworth back to the line of scrimmage maybe, before being wrapped up. No, he will have lost a few.
Sack
on
number
that.
3, I think.
Yes, indeed. And the Spartans' defense is really not one that you want to break in a new quarterback against. They will get after you, they will hit you, and they will let you know about it all the way through.
course, you really don't get much of a choice in this league now. you
Oh.
only have 3 opposing clubs.
That's true.
3rd down and 14. Chiefs with a fair bit of work to do. There's our understatement of the day. Skirtworth will roll back, buys a bit of time, shows he's got an arm with a long pass to Merton, who dig it in the game. He might just have drawn a flag.
Yeah, that would be Guevara
Although-
getting a little bit handsy.
This is going to be an interesting one because one official threw the flag, one official indicated that it was uncatchable. So this is going to bring a discussion.
I think that our friend over there in 89 makes a lot more things catchable than you would think just by how big he is. But we do have that uncatchable signal by one of the referees. But the referee who threw the flag is not one to be overruled lightly. No, there it goes.
There we go. Uncatchable.
Uncatchable
And
is the signal.
That's what you want to see. You want to see your officials working together there. Someone saw the infraction. Closest person to the pass ruled it was uncatchable. That's our 3rd team out on the field working beautifully.
Absolutely. So Guevara turns into good coverage, and now danger time once again as Lamont back to return once again, fresh off of his, what would it be, 4th total return touchdown of the year.
He's ready to go again. Will they kick it to him?
And that one is likely touched at the line, but that may work out pretty well as Tedmanson downs it at about the 40-yard line. So not perfect, but at least keeping it away from Lamont is a win in and of itself.
So if you've found us a bit late, well, what's happened this afternoon? Well, it's been a bit of a war attrition for the Chiefs. They lost their starting quarterback early in the 2nd quarter. Or it was late in the 1st quarter.
No, for 2nd quarter.
Yeah. We had 3 turnovers and 3 touchdowns in the first 4 series as Palmer gains a couple of yards. Chiefs kept in there. Spartans got out to a 14-point lead. Chiefs made it 14-6 with a very nice throwing series. Then Spartans recovered a fumble, made it 20-6, and just on the half-time mark, with a couple of 2-point conversions in there as well, made it 30-6.
One of the stories of the season, Isaac Masalam checking into the game at running back for the first time. Novice play fakes to him, takes a shot downfield, has a man, overthrows DeFrancesca, incomplete. But Masalam coming back from that horrendous knee injury, and we are so grateful that we do not have a clip that we can play for you of that, as that is not one that you want in your dreams
Well, it
here
wasn't
tonight.
one you're able to focus on because there was a guy who recovered the fumble and ran the length of the field to score a pretty big touchdown.
Absolutely.
It will always go down as one of the more consequential plays of the Gridiron season. As there's a pass, is it for a touchdown?
Number 18 for the Spartans coming down with
Luke
it.
Pudney
Pudney with a huge reception.
just brought down before the goal line. So Spartans will ram it down your throat, but when they pass it, they've usually found someone.
Masalam bounces off. Masalam, was that
DeFrancesca got it back.
Jessica? Yep. So Masalam checks out, but just tremendous effort to even be able to play this season.
Yep.
With the amount of damage done to that leg. So 2nd and goal from about the 8-yard line. High snap. Novice hands off to Palmer. Palmer tries to pin outside, but Tedmanson stands it up. And you can tell Tedmanson simply by the fact that he is the one who does not have the stripe down his helmet.
Ah.
I think that he may be wearing one of the Sharks helmets.
Always a
But those little things.
you
like
love those
wouldn't
as a
think.
commentator, just to be able to tell people apart. As we do go to 3rd and goal. Palmer got the call. A lot of bodies there again. Tedman's another one. And we're going to go to 4th and goal. So in amongst all of this, the Chiefs D is actually not allowed a touchdown in the second half yet. The only score coming from that punt return. And given that some of the drives that the Spartans have started off with, it's probably been one of their better defensive efforts. Bar maybe the first drive that the Spartans did take down the length of the field. 4th and goal. Enough of running, throw to the air, another turnover on 4th down. Chiefs will get it, and Skipworth and the offense will start off from about their 2-yard line. So expect the Spartans' defense to come hunting.
Well, they've got a little bit of room, maybe at about the 4 or 5. But yes, that is not an ideal situation, as once again, needing to drive the length of the field as the third quarter starting to get some serious tread on it. Thinking that we may be coming up on the 4th before too long, possibly before this possession ends. But plenty of work to be done for the Chiefs. And just with a young quarterback, you want to get him in as many situations as you can to see what he can do. But this one is not an ideal one. And I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about not really having too many options about who you can go against. So, yes, the Spartans' defense, not one that you necessarily want to go against. The Eagles' defensive line kills everybody. Skipworth under pressure. Skipworth tucks, keeps his eyes downfield, but manages to get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe pickup of 1, depending on where he is marked. But so, really, this is one opinion, one for you. Is the best defense for a rookie quarterback in this league to go against right now the team waiting in the Great Southern Bowl, Adelaide University?
Well, let's just say that there are no easy games.
Yes, there is no good answer for like that. Like, ideally, the answer in this case would be the Chiefs' defensive line, as they haven't gotten after that too much. Tedmanson coming up with a few big tackles for loss. Once again, Myers.
He's still catching the ball with no one within 10 yards of him. I know they quickly closed the pursuit.
And I'll say that Smith came away with that one.
Yeah, there's your rope-a-dope right there.
And honestly, they're just playing off, giving Myers space, because Myers was the one who caught that huge touchdown, or not touchdown, but 45-yard pass earlier. So giving him cushion, and so Myers will take a step forward and then come back 2 or 3 yards in the backfield before he can actually make the reception. And so it creates that big feeling of separation. And so that is the last play of the third quarter, as once again, Spartans with a turnover.
5, I think, today. 5
yes,
turnovers.
Indeed. 5 turnovers, and that is about the number of scores that is different in this game.
Yeah. Look, barring something miraculous, we expect the Spartans to go on from here, and the Chiefs to take some lessons out of returning to the playoffs. And at what point, Nick, these are players that pay to play. At what point do you say, well, okay, who haven't we played much this year, and give them a run? Because you don't usually do it in a grand final, and for the Chiefs it's their last game.
Well, this is the quarter for it. So generally, I think that this is probably the time where both teams will start to empty the bench a little bit. Maybe, particularly if the Spartans get a score here. Because then it's just no longer really within the realm of realism. We know that the Chiefs can get big plays, but that time calling an immediate timeout.
Well,
because we do have an injured.
32 points for all realism is 5 scores.
Absolutely.
Chiefs have called a timeout. I mean, I know that you can score 4 touchdowns and get 4 2-point conversions. That would be exceptionally rare. And that only ties it. So you need 5 scores to win, and you're not going to get that in a quarter or in overtime. And that assumes the Spartans don't go here. They're going to go to the back of the end zone, Lamont, and that's going to be intercepted. I think it was about the back of the end zone.
They'll have to.
I think it was out the back.
On that.
Umpires are conferring.
see if he got a foot down. It's a 1 foot league, as we said before, NCAA rules. So no indication. I think that's just going to be incomplete. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So just unable to get a foot down in that back of the end zone.
Catches seem to be much easier to judge at this level than the NFL. I don't know why, but as Palmer gets the call, he's going to grab a couple of yards, one down a bit of clock, bring up 3rd and goal.
It's a lot easier to judge, first of all, because you aren't having people making absolutely sensational, almost impossible grabs every single week at this level, but also just the coverage is not quite as tight. There's a lot more zone, a lot more miscommunication, so you'll get more people in the open field, and so you just have more
fumble on the play, and the Chiefs will recover. Got a high snap that Novice couldn't quite get a handle on.
Novice has been dealing with high snaps pretty much all season, as they'll come in and he will essentially have to raise one arm over his head with full extension in order to get a hold of it. And he is quite good at it, but at the same time,
that was a bit quick.
Averages.
Mark Arecido, number 76 for the Chiefs, a name we don't call often because, let's face it, the linemen don't get as much credit as they deserve. He's collected the fumble recovery. Well done to Mark, and the Chiefs are pitching a shutout in the second half. The Chiefs defense are pitching a shutout in the second half.
Certainly true. And a little bit more breathing room for the Chiefs offense this time, not operating with the quarterback standing in the end zone. Skipworth with time. Skipworth throws short, complete, and that would be Myers near the line to gain. Pickup of about 9, so nice thing to start things off. And that is the sort of quick thing that really just needs the repetitions just to get that rhythm through, and that may be why the Chiefs were going away for it. I'm thinking that with a fresh quarterback he might not have the rhythm, but at the same time, why not give him an opportunity, let him take those shots and see if they can get something on the board, get some momentum rolling. If the turnovers come, why not? So first down on the ground for the Chiefs, biggest run of the day for the men in red by far.
Just wondering if they've unleashed a new running back on us. If only we knew his name.
So out to the 31-yard line, looks like. So first down on the ground for the Chiefs, to say the least.
Yes.
One of maybe 4 positive running plays thus far, but now they may have a taste for it. 1st and 10. Oh, and this one will be 1st and 15. Receiver on the slot on the far side. Got a bit of an early start. Was hanging his head as he turned around. So no question about either the infraction or the guilty party. So 1st and 15.
Oh, there's a very late flag thrown from way back.
And that will be a 15-yard variety.
I think that's a sideline. I think.
Nope, that is on the Spartans.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, 15-yard variety, number 20, called for the unsportsmanlike conduct with, we will say, likely some unkind words.
What would constitute an unkind word?
Oh.
See you next season? No?
Well, yes, something to that effect, I'm
Okay.
sure. So 1st and 10, Skipworth, clapping for it. 2 receivers either side. Throws a beautiful ball, but that one is taken a little bit by the wind and blown off course, out of bounds, looking for Myers. But that's just about the prettiest spiral that you will see at this level. Looked nice, but just didn't come down in the right spot.
Yeah.
I was mentioning it earlier in the break, but removing politics from the equation, Skipworth reminds me a little bit of something like Colin Kaepernick went back when he was playing university ball. No, that one was bobbled, but managed to be recovered. He just has that interesting stance and throwing position that you really saw a lot of back when Kaepernick was at Nevada.
And you would be one of the few people that actually saw him play at Nevada, because at the point we didn't know. We would not have got a lot of those games down here, I don't think.
Absolutely. You know, I managed to watch a few of them.
Wolfpack?
Nevada Wolfpack, absolutely. Chris Alt, the coach for Nevada at that time, invented the pistol offense, actually.
Okay.
So that is where that has come from, and taken both the pro and NCAA by storm. 3 receivers on the left, 1 on the right, flag down. That will likely be delay of game, so I will continue to talk about Nevada football. Why not?
So unfortunately, we're just talking on college football. Unfortunately, in the COVID world, we're beginning to see quite a few of the bowl games start to cancel, because you think about everything that a bowl game is about. It's prime COVID country. For a start, you've got to get teams, they're playing during bowl season now.
The United States is prime COVID territory. As this one is a bad snap, but recovered by the running back and taken outfield, so managed to avoid complete disaster and get a hold of it to at least punt this one away.
I mean, there'll still be a football playoff, and there'll still be the New Year's 6 because the TV dollars demand it, but I think we're up to something like 36 or 37 bowl games now at the Division 1 level, and I'll be lucky if we see half of those, I reckon, by the time we get there.
Well, you are... Well, on the one hand, you are certainly right. There should not be. At the same time, it's America.
Oh, yeah.
They make poor decisions. Flag down. Skipworth throws off his back foot. Up for grabs. Picked off. Number 82 coming down with it once again.
Yeah,
But flag down over there. That came in pretty quick, but not a pre-snap penalty. Looks like ineligible downfield, so that will still stay in the books for the Spartans as a interception, but at the same time, if he had dropped it, better field position.
He did drop it, didn't he? Yeah, he did drop it.
Oh, he was encouraged by his teammates to do so, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, of course, one bowl game that we know is going to happen is the Great Southern Bowl, and it will be right here this time next week. The Hogs over, well, they're here in number, keeping an eye on the game. Like any football player, it's very hard to come and watch a game, I suspect. They just want to go out there and hit someone, but they're going to have to wait another week. The Spartans carry it through Palmer, gain of about 6. And that could be the one, I mean, we're all looking, is this going to be the year that the dynasty falls over? And the one thing the Hogs are going to have to deal with is the fact that they would not have played a game for about 5 weeks.
Absolutely. They lost their last week's game against the Eagles due to the COVID situation. Novice throws and almost picked off. May have, well, I might say that he might have gotten away with a little defensive play there by Dave Francesca to keep that from being an interception, as that one was right into the grill of number 29 before being ripped out. 3rd down, Chiefs show pressure. Up the middle once again, and for the first down, that would be Palmer up the middle.
And I think it's very hard to translate one game into another, but the one thing I liked was the sharpness of the Spartans at the start of this game.
Absolutely.
They took that first drive, just rammed it down the Chiefs' throat, got early points on the board, and they're going to have to do that next week.
Absolutely. We saw what happened last year. Novice again, high snap, but this time handoff comes through. Palmer getting down to the very, very, very fringe of the 1 yard line. So first down, goal to go for the Spartans. And now it's a matter of seeing who's going to carry it in. 3 receivers on the right.
First and goal, Spartans. And quarterback says, well, it's my choice. It's my ball. It's my touchdown if the flag doesn't stop it from occurring.
But indication is that it may be against the Chiefs.
It is a legal substitution, and that is a Spartan touchdown. And it is 44-6 with the conversion to come. And unfortunately, the Spartans D that were pitching a shutout in the second half have just had a hit.
Hand off up the middle, and nothing going there. Stonewalled by a parade of Chiefs. So that one will stop the score from inflating any further. So 44-6 is the score. Chiefs will get the kickoff, but now's our chance. So actually, I am actually wearing a relic of a very important Nevada game, because it was Nevada against Boise State in a game where the highest ranking non-Power 5 affiliated team was going to get to play in the Rose Bowl. Boise State was going to pass TCU in the rankings with a win. However, Nevada came up with the upset thanks to Colin Kaepernick. And that sent TCU to the Rose Bowl, which I am wearing the TCU Rose Bowl hooded sweatshirt on the sideline here right now. So it all comes full circle, and we'll always be grateful for Kaepernick for that.
There's the obligatory TCU mention in the broadcast.
Go Frogs.
We cannot get through without.
Why would you want to get through without it is the question.
So they're using a bit of a holder due to the breeze. Spartans will kick off. Chiefs get the ball back. Return from about the 7-yard line. Down at about the 22. Spartans are claiming it. Nothing official.
Whistle came in very early, though, and I think that may have actually blown the play dead before the ball came loose.
And umpire's call is umpire's call. There is no reversal. There is no replay.
And just the big thing is that once the whistle blows, the play is dead.
Yeah.
So we will have a chat about this one. If it were any closer, the drama would be high. But
yes,
the only question at this point is by how much.
Whether the Spartans are going to put out 50. I think this actually now, they're one touchdown away from their highest score of the season. From memory, they put up 46 against the Hogs, and that was a game out of nowhere. Okay.
They'll say Spartans ball. So
okay.
This is where a lack of replay can come and bite you, as I would be interested, not doubting the recovery by the Spartans, because that one appeared clear.
When he comes up with the football, it's pretty obvious.
I thought the whistle had blown beforehand.
Yeah.
The whistle seemed like it came in very early, even while the runner was actually still on his feet. And even an inadvertent whistle would result in the possession staying, the ball being dead. So both teams actually have their offense on the field right now. So
what they're saying is possession is 9-10.
If you're on replay, sideline here right now.
Ask for a replay. Nick's getting one as we speak. Meanwhile, live here, it looks like we're going to get a re-kick.
So I have the advantage of a replay that the officials do not get, but looks like we're going to re-kick. So
I'm not sure how you get a re-kick out of a dispute of possession. There may have been a penalty involved somewhere else.
It was just the inadvertent whistle. So a whistle ruled to be inadvertent.
Yes.
So essentially an inadvertent whistle blowing the play dead while the ball was still live and active essentially means that there's really no choice but to do the play over again.
I always thought the team that had the ball had the choice of redoing the play or taking it where the whistle blew.
Not in this case,
Okay.
I'm afraid.
Not in special teams. Okay. All right.
Or yeah, that's what I thought. The inadvertent whistle means that the play is dead right then.
Okay, so there's no option given.
Yes, no option given, no chance for a re-kick. It's essentially,
Well, it has given everybody a chance to go on the field. The Spartans' defense were on, then the offense came on, then the special teams came on, and now the defense is back on.
And it means that, well,
And
if you're watching on the stream, you have learned some new rules from our football league here.
Or the way that we eventually interpret them.
Well, no, those are the actual rules. And so they're ones that you don't generally get on different levels of play. So at the same time, it's something that you didn't know before. So if you have your team messed up by an inadvertent whistle, you will know whether or not you should be angry.
Okay. We might start winding down the clock very soon.
Yes, this is likely going to be running clock from here.
You think. 1st and 10 Chiefs.
Skipworth back under center. Skipworth bounces under pressure. Throws short. Incomplete. Nobody there. Apart from someone that you don't want to see with the ball in your hands if you were a Chiefs fan.
There was a lot of black there, wasn't there?
And just any play where Skipworth is going to have to hold on to the ball for a while from the playbook at this point. Something quick, build up the rhythm, and just really keep it short, keep it choppy, see if you can get 4 or 5 yards on a hitch or a slant, and just really build that momentum. There's a slant to Myers, but still it took a good while for that to actually get out, and that ended up being incomplete as a result. So 3rd down and 10 coming up. But just build that momentum, build the rhythm, and that's when you can really take a shot downfield. But
well, the Spartans did that to perfection today. They ran. Nasari and then Palmer to a certain point, and then when the field came up, they just threw a couple of touchdown passes. Very nicely done today. So it's 3rd and 10. Nice long throw into traffic, bobbled and incomplete.
Looking for Tedmanson, but Tedmanson was a little bit before and tried to come back for it, but there was a wall of black bodies preventing him from getting back to it.
If there is a player I wouldn't mind throwing into traffic because he has that height and athleticism, you'd almost back him to make most of the catches. If you're ever doing a Hail Mary kind of play.
And you do, and
he's the one you do. He's the one you chuck it to.
Honestly, the only trouble with that is that he couldn't throw it to himself. Because, honestly, at this point, I would still say that Tedmanson likely has the strongest arm in the state. Just if you're throwing it for distance and just, okay, I need someone to throw it from one end zone to try and get it as close as possible to the other end zone, Tedmanson would still likely be my choice.
And that was an interesting decision by the Chiefs to go for it on 4th down at this end of the field, which they did, and that was incomplete, and Spartans take over.
I think that they just wanted to get Skipworth another shot at it. Figure time is winding down. Clock is going to be running at this point pretty much no matter what. So just take a shot. Why not? You may not get it back. So if you saw something on defense that you wanted to have a look at, then why not? There is nice defensive play there from the Chiefs.
Threw a few pair of hands before landing on the grass.
Angus Bell there in coverage. Bell. Tremendous in coverage both today and for the season. May earn himself an all-state selection. Run up the middle, that would be Palmer. And first and goal for the Spartans.
So I'm just wondering when that all takes place, because it's anyway. Spartans are playing big hurry up to try and keep the Chiefs offense on the field. Chiefs are saying, well, we'll just substitute anyway.
At this point, I would imagine that the voting would happen today, because today is after this one. Ball comes loose, flags down. This one appears to be recovered by the Chiefs. But I imagine that would happen today because I did see the Eagles coach over by the sideline. So this is likely the only time that you're likely going to be able to safely have all four coaches in one place without breaking COVID procedures. So
Well, makes sense. A couple of coaches have got to.
you got a coach on each sideline here.
Chiefs had 12, automatic first down. So if we're going off game a little bit here, but it's going to be first and goal for the Spartans. They score here and they put 50 on the board, which I think is a season high. Ball's just a couple of yards away. They go to Palmer. He'll virtually stroll in. There's your 50. Raise the bat for the half century. And it certainly has been Port Adelaide today. From the opening series, they took down the field to the final quarter where they score their, this is stretching my head a little bit, 7th touchdown.
Yes, indeed. And honestly, this one may crack you up a little bit, particularly given the way that the season went. But putting up the 50 burger is a big one, and the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, were actually selling shirts, about 40 and 50 burgers, because of the offensive talent that they were so sure was going to be producing this year, and did not exactly work out for them.
Yeah. So flag on the play. Might have been a... Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Delay of game on the defense, which means that they essentially were not getting sets or players off the field, while players were in the backfield.
I've never seen that in 34 years.
Well, there you go. There's the explanation. If there's a player who's taking too long to get back behind the line of scrimmage and is just like lining up,
If you'd have said to me, Phil, is it possible to have a delay game defense, true or false? I would have said, not a hope. But the conversion attempt is unsuccessful. It is 50-6 in favour of the Spartans. Off to their, they've been here the last few years. Is next week the week they'll crack it. They've certainly got a nicely balanced offense. A defense, well, it certainly stifled the Chiefs today. Admittedly, it's a bit easy when you've got a backup quarterback you're up against. And, you would have also said won the battle of the special teams as well.
Absolutely. Lamont is the X factor, and that may be one of the biggest factors that decides next week whether Lamont can put another one either in the end zone or set up the Spartans for an easy score, as that is one of the big differences in the games that the Spartans and Adelaide played. The Friday night game, Lamont had probably his worst game of the season, and the Spartans ended up losing. In the Spartans running roughshod win, Lamont, big game. Last time, Lamont had a big return, but it was fairly late, and the Hogs managed to come up with it. So Lamont may be the X factor if the Spartans are finally going to break this curse that the Hogs have put on the hold.
Yeah, well, don't ask me. It took the Breakers 4 or 5 attempts to do it. Almost had to go through a generation of players. Unfortunately for the club, once we actually beat the Hogs in a grand final, there was a sudden, everyone who'd stuck around for so long to do it left at the same time, which is why part of the reason why there's no Breakers anymore. But Chiefs, this should I think, be their final series of the season. Unless some very quick things happen. So let's see if they can go out with a bit of a bang here and get a bit more on that scoreboard. 1st and 10.
The Spartans would have to try to blow something like this, as Skipworth has issues with the snap, gets by him, and so ending up losing yards back to about the 12-yard line where that one's recovered. Yeah, I'm not sure that even if the Spartans tried, like really tried, and just ran backwards, like playing Madden against yourself and like trying to move the defense out of the way before the snap and everything, I still don't think that that would be enough at this point.
Oh, as long as Myers and Tedmondson can do good things when they've got the ball in their hands. So Chiefs are always a threat. Speaking of the man, he had it. Oh, he bounced it. Real style. I know that wasn't the intention, but that was the way it looked. And well, he didn't get the score, but he got a yard.
Small victories at this point.
But luck's a fortune, because of course it's an oval-shaped football. Once it hits the dirt, it can go anywhere, and it just bounced right back up at him. He had it back before he even knew he lost it.
And this will likely be the last game for a few fellows on the Chiefs sideline. Myers couldn't quite bring that one down inbounds. Smith in coverage along with Guevara.
Now surely they're going to punt this time.
Well, you certainly think so.
Surely.
Yes, indeed. Skipworth coming off the field. 2-minute warning, so this one is just about wrapped up. And you think that, barring another Lamont return, the Spartans could pretty well run it 4 or 5 times.
If you were the Spartans coach, would you just kneel on it once you get the ball?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because
major point.
I mean, you have number 13 on the sideline who will tell you all about the advantages of kneeling.
Meanwhile, it's a fake punt. Audacious and unsuccessful. Got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Oh, number 14, my apologies. But yes, number 14 will be happy to tell you all about the advantages of kneeling in a football game. And
why it should be seriously considered when you're in front.
And the issues
in the last few minutes.
And more particularly the issues of not kneeling in a football game.
So Spartans, well, this is a slightly different situation. Chiefs, by going with the fake, have almost said to the Spartans, well, come on, we're still playing a game of football here. That's a second straight turnover on downs inside their own 30-yard line. So,
why not?
If you're going to give... Oh, no, the Spartans are going to kneel. Thank you, gentlemen. Wise move. I was about to say, if they're going to give you a piece of chocolate cake with icing on top, you feel tempted that you should maybe sample some. But that is the game, and the Spartans will get another shot at the Hogs.
Will 4th time be the charm? The Spartans look to have been going the wrong direction in the grand finals this year. They had the overtime game against Adelaide where they lost. The next game was not nearly so close as Adelaide was in control throughout. Last time almost didn't even seem fair as the Spartans defense came to play, but the offense got nothing going. They got a big return touchdown by Lamont, but that was it for the scoring for the Spartans. This time, the Spartans offense looks balanced, it looks healthy, and looks about as good as it has looked in recent memory. And so they will be going in against Adelaide that possibly looks a little bit more gettable than they have some years. And so if it's going to be done, this needs to be the time.
Hogs will be favourites for sure, but this is why they play the game, because it doesn't always work out that way. Kickoff will be 12 o'clock Adelaide time next Saturday, the 12th of December. If you're in the town, come down the Riverside Oval at Port Adelaide. We'd love to have you. If not, please come down to, check us out on 180 Creations. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. And Nick, I'll leave you for the sign-off.
All right, so for Sam Friller for 180 Creations and for Phil Hurton, this is Nick Priest signing off. And, of course, Jeff as well for doing the camera work here. This is Nick Priest signing off for another one. We'll see you next week for the Great Southern Bowl right here at Riverside Oval.